I gave my wife everything for 25 years, but now I think she is in love with her coworker. I snooped on her phone after she tried so hard to protect it and saw the messages between them. Posted by you/thrower dummy. I'm totally new to this, and it's nice just to get this off my chest. This is going to be a very long one, and I'm not a good writer, so hang in there with me. We've been together a long time, and I think you need some history to see how we ended up where we're at. My wife, 48F, and I, 50M, met when we were both in college. We were both working part-time and going to school full-time and met while we were on lunch break from our jobs. I thought she was very, very pretty, so I went to eat there again hoping to see her again. She came up to me and started talking to me the next time we were both there, and I was sure she was interested, so I asked her out. We quickly started dating, and after a couple of years, we got married. When we met, I was just finishing school, and the company I was working for part-time offered me a full-time management position. My now wife was still in school, and I was paying for her college 100%. I actually started paying for her college shortly after we became a couple because she came from a very large family, and they couldn't afford to help her. Working part-time, she didn't have a lot either, and I was then working full-time, so I paid for her schooling. This is important later. She is very smart, brilliant, graduated with honors, and after a couple of not-so-great jobs, got a really good professional job that she stayed at for many years, making good money with very good benefits. During our dating years and our early marriage, we had a great sex life. We didn't have sex every single day, but when we did, it was wild and sometimes very kinky. I was fairly popular in high school, captain of the football team, and college. I was in good shape, ran half marathons, etc. I guess I did okay with the ladies and had a number of partners and one long-term girlfriend that got a little kinky. My wife, however, was much, much more experienced than I. She was younger than me but had many more partners and had done much more than I sexually. She liked to party and go a little wild when she partied, so she had a bit of a well-earned reputation. I found out all about it from a mutual friend right from the start, and I was good with it. If anything, it made me like her all the more early in our relationship. She would always tell me how good I was and how I was the first person that cared about her needs and got her off. That always made me feel good, and to this day, I always make sure she is satisfied before me. I'm fairly average in all ways, so I always felt the need to put in maximum effort to make sure my partner wanted me and wouldn't stray, thinking they could get better sex from someone else. Sure, I'm a little insecure there. After a few years of marriage, I decided to pursue a dream of starting my own sports team, and it was a real struggle to get things off the ground. My wife helped me every step of the way, and to make things even more interesting, we bought a big house at about the same time. We were both working our regular jobs and now working to get this new business going. I probably didn't get more than 4 hours of sleep a night for the next 20 years, and that's not an exaggeration. Money was pretty tight at this time. Because of all the time I was spending with my new team, I changed jobs a few times and was putting a lot of my own money into the team to build it up. My wife was bringing home more money than me, and there were a few arguments about money and how much I was spending, but all in all, we were rock solid. She was my best friend, wife, and lover. The team travels to events every weekend during the season, and probably 90% of the time my wife traveled with me and was by my side all the time before we had kids. Some events weren't far from home, so I would be home late that night even if she didn't go. This meant that I missed a lot of family and friend occasions. She went to many family and friends' weddings and other things solo. She even took a few trips with her single friends to the beach for a week to hang out and relax. She loves the beach. Shortly after our 5th wedding anniversary, I was looking for some team pictures, and my wife told me to look in the drawers in a spare room. I found pictures of her bachelorette party. We had talked about it after, and she had told me about all the drinking and dancing, flirting with some guys, and that it was pretty innocent and tame. My bachelor party was pretty wild, and some of the wildest things were done by her brothers, so I was a fairly good boy and wasn't worried about hers at all. Well, the pictures painted a little different picture. Her maid of honor bought her a stripper and was nice enough to take pictures so she'd remember the night, I guess. There was a lot of alcohol, and the pictures showed the stripper doing his thing and my wife grinding on him, having a good time. The last photo showed him completely naked standing in front of her. She still had all her clothes on, with her hand wrapped around his junk. I was like, WTF. I took the photos and immediately showed them to her and asked WTF. She said she didn't tell me about the stripper because she didn't want me to get jealous and that all her friends were egging her on to touch him, and she was quite drunk, so she did. She swore up and down that was all that happened, and since I had done about the same at my party that same night, I didn't think I could be too pissed. I was really only mad that she didn't tell me about it. She knew exactly what happened at mine, all her brothers told her. This did let me know that she could do something and leave out details when she told me and not feel she was lying at all. It always left a nagging little doubt in my head about those beach trips and if she was completely honest about them. Fast forward a few years, and things were greatly improving. We waited to have kids because we wanted to be able to provide for them properly. My sports team had really started to take off and was starting to make us money instead of costing us money. We both had good jobs, and we decided it was time to have kids. We had 2 children, 4 years apart, and everything was going great. The sports team was really taking off, winning championships, awards, etc. I started to become a little bit of a local celebrity. Everyone knew who I was doing TV interviews, radio, etc. Just local and regional stuff, nothing big time, but things were going great. In fact, between my 2 children's births, my wife and I were having the most sex we ever had in our relationship. Wild, crazy times that we both seemed to enjoy very much. There was even some internet stuff, and she was the star. Remember, she is very, very pretty and a bit kinky too. This ended a few years ago at her request. These were probably the best days of my life. It is also very important to note that even though we were having some wild times, it was just the 2 of us. We had talked about ever fooling around and both completely agreed it was a 100% deal breaker. She told me if I ever cheated, we were done, end of story. We were still very close, but I have found out very recently that after our second child was born, that is when she started resenting the sports team. She has now told me it bothered her that I was getting all the attention, awards, etc., after she had done so much work and sacrificed so much to get things going. I really didn't see it at the time. Hang in there, the part where I need your help is coming soon. Now we have children, and she can't or doesn't want to bring them to all our events, so she starts traveling with the team less and less. I swear that I always ask her to go, as I really want her there with me. Fast forward a few more years, and my wife's father passes away. They were very close, and he was very protective of his baby girl. Side note, he didn't like me at all at first but warmed up to me, and I really liked him and respected him a lot. After a short period of time, my wife announces she is quitting her job and going back to school to change careers and follow in her father's footsteps. I'm a little worried because that means I have to pay for her to go to college again, take care of 2 young kids, work my regular job, and run my team too, as she will be returning to school full time. I really wanted to support her though, because of how much I knew it meant to her and all the support she had given me starting my team. She went summers, nights, etc., to get done as fast as she could, and I made it work as best as I could. The kids and I look back at these times and really think it was fun, me picking them up from daycare, cooking, me microwaving kid cuisine, and them tagging along to nights with the team. Things seemed to be going great. Fast forward to a few years ago, and we're doing so well that I say I want to take her away for a week to her favorite beach, just the 2 of us, as a second honeymoon. We didn't have a lot of money for our first one, so it wasn't so great, and I wanted to make it up to her. It went great, she loved the beach, and we made love more than we did on our first honeymoon. And that's when things seemed to start going bad. After that trip, even though the kids were older, she didn't want to travel with the team anymore. She started wanting to take a trip every summer to the beach, right in the middle of my season when she knew I couldn't go. She said I could come if I wanted, but she was going either way. She said she was tired of missing out and, since we were doing so well, we could afford it and she was going. She'd take the kids and usually invite some of her family along, but it still makes me feel bad. She didn't get to go this year but has already told me she's going next year without me again. I don't think she's meeting anyone on these trips, but I still don't think it's a good thing. As the last few years have played out, she seems to resent my team more and more. She comes around the team so little that even friends ask what's up. If you've stayed with me for this long, the novel is coming to an end. About 2 years ago, she starts talking about a new coworker a lot. Yeah, you can see where this is going. She tells me how smart he is and all the new ideas he has and how they have become friends very quickly, which is unusual, as she hasn't made friends with her coworkers that much. I'm really getting bad vibes from this right from the start. Then her company has a big outing, a bus trip to a big city for a fancy dinner and show, and spouses are invited. I go, partially just so I can meet this guy. He's bigger than me, around 6'2", but he's pretty fat and out of shape, but it's obvious to me by the way he looks at my wife that he likes her. I ask her about him when we're alone, and she says they're just friends and for me not to worry. Just look at him, she says. I could never be attracted to someone like that. Well, on the bus ride home, she asks me not to sit next to her so she can stretch out and fall asleep, as it's close to 1 a.m. Honestly, it pissed me off because I figured she'd have coworker sitting with her in no time. She doesn't for most of the trip, about 4 hours, but for the last half hour, he comes up and sits next to her and they talk the rest of the way home. Of course, I ask what they were talking about, and she says it's a work project coming up that they'll be working on together. Of course, my spidey senses are going crazy, but I've got no proof anything is going on. Things actually seem to cool off for a little while, as I think they both have other big projects that keep them apart, but I'm not at all sure about it. One thing is for sure, she stopped sleeping with me. She says it's my snoring, and I do snore. I offer to sleep in another room so she doesn't have to sleep on the couch. So now we're sleeping in separate rooms. Let's call that red flag number 3, but I'm not really counting. It gets worse, the sex stops shortly thereafter too. Giant red flag. She always wanted sex, but now says medical things are bothering her, the kids might hear, or 1,001 other excuses why she doesn't want to anymore. I've tried to talk to her about this a number of times, and it never goes well. I try and keep my cool, but I have asked if there is someone else, because I figure if she isn't getting it from me, she's getting it from someone else. Looking back, I wish I didn't say that, then maybe she would have let her guard down. Anyway, about a month or so ago, one night at about midnight, her phone starts blowing up. She used to leave it downstairs at night to charge, and I was going to be sleeping downstairs that night. I got lucky and figured out her password, and of course, coworker is the one texting her. I stayed up the entire night reading their texts and going through her phone. It was a Friday night, so I didn't have to be at work the next morning, but we did have a team event, and I really didn't care. He was texting how much he missed her and hoped they'd see each other soon. There were missing texts and conversations when things were getting more heated, and it was obvious from the conversations that it seemed like there were phone calls and other things missing as well. Like I said from the start, she is a very smart woman, and you could tell she was trying to hide certain things. There were tons of I love yous, way more than I have heard in the last few years. Lots of I miss yous. I miss your hugs, blowing kisses emojis, and a lot more. Some selfies accompany things together saying how cute they are, and on and on. The only thing is, there is not any actual talk of having sex or proof of an actual physical affair. Obviously, it looks like there's one going on to me. She has the time, as I work a lot and spend time with the team, and I think she thinks she has the motive. There have been a ton of other red flags that I think I chose to ignore until now. She's had to work late a lot in the last year or so. There were a couple of trips for work, she's all of a sudden started drinking, and it's quite a bit every night, and many other things. I guess my fear of losing everything I've worked so hard for kept me from blowing this up sooner. The day after, I went in her phone and asked my oldest child if coworker was married. I thought he was, and my oldest had an internship at my wife's company before the lockdown happened, so I figured they would know. They asked why, and I made up some lie about seeing him on Facebook with no wife and thinking he had a wife. Said child immediately went to my wife and told her I was asking about coworker. Wife then came storming into my office and screamed at me about looking through her phone. She knew instantly why I would ask that, I guess. I'm sure I must have sent off a bunch of other signs that I was wondering if something was going on. Anyway, she went through all the things cheaters usually do. She denied everything. I took screenshots, so she only admitted to what I had proof of, which wasn't much. Blamed me for invading her privacy. Blamed me for a lot of other stuff too. Basically turning it around that I drove her to seek this close emotional friendship with him, but that was all it was. I knew I didn't have any proof of anything else, so I said I wasn't accusing her of anything, but she had to agree it looked pretty bad from my point of view and how everything was going between us. She got madder because I was so calm and wouldn't yell back and stormed out. I looked at a lot of Reddit since then and realized just how many mistakes I've made. Since that blow up, she's been hiding her phone, changed her passwords on everything, and has made sure she's not going to let me find anything else very easily. I did ask her about this, and she tells me I invaded her privacy, but if I want her phone, I can have it. I politely told her I know how smart she is, and if she wanted to hide something from me, she's smart enough to figure out how. So where do I go from here? I just want the truth. We had one other talk, but it was more of the same. I don't want to lose everything, but if she's a lying cheater, I don't want that either. The worst part is I still love her with all my heart. She's so smart, beautiful, a great mother to my kids, who are both brilliant like her, tops in their class. I know I'm not perfect, I can be pretty intense, work a lot, and have made many mistakes, I'm sure, but I've tried really hard to give her a good life. I just want the truth, no matter if it's going to hurt or not. No half-truths or trickling the truth to me. God, this sucks. Any good advice is appreciated. Thanks in advance. _relevant comments. Commenter. The truth you seek is that your wife is emotionally involved with another man, she is already cheating emotionally and, yeah, there may be reasons for that, but that's the plain fact. If you want to try and save your marriage, then I would ask her if she would consider marriage counseling rather than obsessing over whether the relationship is also physical. If there is absolutely no way you could bear it if she is physically cheating and or your wife is not interested in counseling, then sure, if you have the resources, a private investigator is the way to go. Ops response. Thanks, I have asked her 3 times to go to a marriage counselor and told her I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things better between us, and she flat out refuses. Commenter. What was her reason for refusing counseling? Ops response. She said we don't need it, we can work any issues out ourselves. To which I said, let's talk about this right now and at least start working on us. She starts to yell that I don't trust her, etc., each time I brought it up. She gets mad and walks out. Commenter 2. Dude, who did you marry, her or the sports team? All I hear in this is, we started out good, she's super hot and kinky and likes segs, I started a sports team and that's basically all I do, and she never wants to come to sports stuff even though I always invite her. I would not be surprised if some serious resentment built up. I would not be surprised if that second honeymoon was eye-opening for her, that she wanted much more than to be married to a workaholic. I don't condone emotional cheating, which is very much what this sounds like between your wife and the coworker. I don't know if it's sexual. Definitely not out of the question. If your oldest is on her side, maybe your oldest reads between the lines and just wants to see their mom happy. It definitely sounds like your wife has checked out after you checked out a long time ago. I don't know, man. Ops response. You could be so right. The weird part is, I worked so hard building a championship winning team so she'd be proud of me. Guess that didn't go quite as planned. Op on his son going to his mom about the coworker. I'm 99% sure my oldest knows and is on my wife's side. Additional info from Op. Just a little clarification, I mentioned her sexual experience just to show how it was truly abnormal for her not to want sex. She has always been a very sexual woman, I did not want to paint it as a bad thing in any way. I always loved that about her. Second, I mentioned I paid for her college and advanced degrees just to try and show I was trying to do something good for her, because no doubt about it, she had done so many great things for me. Lastly, she is no devil, and I definitely don't have a halo. I would really just like to know the truth of what's going on, and I can't seem to get it from her right now. Update 2 months later. I'll try not to drone on, so 2 quick parts, as I've got a few DMs asking for more updates. Part 1, we've tried to stay together and work through things. A lot of things have gone a lot better. We've had more segs in the last month than in the last year, and it's been very good. After a few more rough patches, she's given me total access to her phone and all social media. He still texts, etc., but she only gives very short, usually one-word answers. I think he still is trying, but she's keeping her answers very short, mostly just about work. So all in all, really good, right? Well, our anniversary came, and I really tried to do some nice things, bought her favorite dessert, bought flowers, took time off from work to deliver them to her to surprise her, etc. She cried and cried. She said she didn't deserve it and wouldn't stop crying. She would not tell me what was wrong. This happened twice. Seemed like serious guilt to me, but she wouldn't tell me what was wrong, so I'm left to think the worst. She also accused me of tracking her with GPS, which I'm not, when she was going out to lunch with coworkers. She said I'd see it on the GPS I'm tracking her with, so she wanted to let me know why she was going there. Maybe it's not a bad thing to let her think I am. She didn't give me a chance to tell her I wasn't. I just let her comments go. Then the bomb dropped last night. Part 2, she has a son that she had when she was very young, before we met, and gave him away to a very nice family. He wants to connect with my wife, his biological mother, and our children. She wants to tell our children about him this weekend and wants to let him meet his half-siblings. They have zero idea he exists, she says. She showed me his picture, I had never seen him before. He apparently looks like his father because he has no similarities to my wife. She went to a family wedding last year and talked to him when I was away. They know a lot about each other's families and have been following each other through social media. She basically says I have no say in any of this since it's her son, and I'm no relation, and it's my children's half-brother. I don't know what to think anymore. Any good advice on how to handle this new revelation would be greatly appreciated. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. She basically says I have no say in any of this since it's her son, and I'm no relation, and it's my children's half-brother. That is a very strange attitude for her to have about this, since you are her husband and the father of the children you two share, so this will affect you too. In a healthy marriage, she should want your input and support in this. Of course, it's clear that your marriage is not healthy right now. As for how to handle the revelation about this other son of hers, my advice is to try to be as understanding as possible. It's not the man's fault that he exists, and it's understandable that he wants some type of relationship with your wife now and that he'd want to get to know his other biological relatives. And your children should have the option of building a relationship with him as well, if they choose to. So they should be told about him and given the choice to meet him, don't try to force it if they're hesitant. And you need to be there for them, make sure they're able to come to you and talk if they have any confused feelings about it. I think you should ask your wife to meet him, just the two of you first, and you should be as welcoming to him as you can. Then you can try to arrange a meeting with your children. And you and your wife need professional marriage counseling. Ops response. I agree that this is a very, very strange attitude to have. Our children could be deeply affected by this, so I definitely have some say. And by the way, I have brought up counseling a number of times, and she flatly refuses. I'll try to be as understanding as I can. This is stress our marriage didn't need, but I guess no time was ever going to be good to find out this. Thank you for your advice. Commenter 2. Fact is, she doesn't care about your input. She cheated on you and basically got away with it and still is getting away with it. The GPS thing makes me think she's just trying to reassure you, even though you don't have it. It's weird for her to assume that unless she's just throwing you off with that information. Don't forget the GPS can be tricked with multiple apps or the old-fashioned way of just being left behind somewhere. And she's still in contact with the guy? What's to say she isn't just deleting the messages now, or has some other way of contacting this guy? Did she shut him down in front of you? Or did she have her own little chat with him about ending things? It doesn't look like it's over. And it looks like you'd prefer to rug sweep this affair, hoping it would help your marriage return to normal. It's not normal and will never be the same. She decided that. You need to start treating it as a new relationship that is starting off on the wrong foot. Trust needs to be rebuilt, and it seems she is barely rebuilding it. With her son part, she doesn't care about your input. It doesn't matter, probably never mattered. I thought marriage was a partnership, a team. I guess as long as one party has the power, there is no team. I don't know how she still has weight on these sorts of decisions, given what she's done. Ops response. You make a lot of good points. She has never actually even stated that she shut him down. She just says that their relationship will be strictly professional now. They still work together, so she says they still have to have contact, etc. If I do in fact find that this is an ongoing affair, that's the deal breaker and I will end things. I did state in another comment that even though I have no proof of actual physical cheating, there was definitely emotional cheating, and I'm treating this as though there was physical cheating too, and we are supposed to be working to fix the many issues in our marriage. I am not sweeping this under the rug. She says she is doing things to help me rebuild my trust in her, access to her phone, social media, etc. She could still be cheating, but I haven't found proof yet, and I will be diligent, but not crazy, trying to find out the truth. As for her son, it seems she is being very disrespectful about the whole situation. Thank you. Commenter 3. I think you missed the guy's point. She should be the one proving to you she isn't cheating anymore. She's the one who has to do the work to undo what she did. She's the one who crapped where she ate when she chose a coworker to have an affair with. My friend's wife cheated on my friend. They worked at the same place, but she had a 30-minute lunch where she met the affair partner, screwed, and still had enough time to get McDonald's. She will cheat if she can, even at work if she wants to. You're not there to supervise. That's why she has to do the work to rebuild trust. Not ending things with the affair partner and continuing to see him invites it over again. Hell, they could still be continuing this at work and now know not to leave a paper trail behind. If you're just waiting to catch her again, you'll waste another 25 years before you realize she's been cheating on you the whole time, while laughing at you. She's probably gotten better at hiding it now. Op responding to a bunch of common questions. This is a lot, so I'll try to answer in order. I think the affair partner and my oldest child became friends during the internship because my wife was friends with him. I know they used to talk at work, but that's all I know. Both my children have always been very supportive of my team. They never seemed to resent the time I spent with the team and would ask if they could come with me a lot. My wife would not want to go with me, but my kids always did and still do. They seem to love the team. I've never thought to ask if she told the affair partner about her son. As far as the team goes, we have gotten into a few arguments about it, and I warned her to never corner me into having to choose between my team and her. She might not like the answer. More so because I don't like her giving me an ultimatum, more than choosing my team over her. Early in my career, I would have chosen her for sure. The last few years, I would choose the team because I figured she had checked out and was probably cheating, etc. The last year or so, I've actually talked to her about me retiring and selling the team in about 2 years, but I want to get out on my terms, when I want, not be forced to. I told her I wasn't tracking her car, but she doesn't believe me. She still thinks I'm tracking it. I think that's stupid because she could just leave her car and take the affair partners. I did ask her directly if she wanted a divorce, and she said no. She actually offered me access to all her accounts. I didn't demand it. I can see his texts to her and her responses, but she could be deleting a lot, it's hard to tell. It seems he has no idea that I'm looking at them, although the I love yous, etc., have stopped, so she has definitely said something to him. They don't seem staged. He still talks about going out and getting drinks after work, etc., but now with other people, and tells her office gossip, etc. In her position, she can basically decide if she works on projects directly with him, and I didn't tell her she can't work with him anymore. I wanted her to tell me that herself, but I now feel like I've got to draw a line at that. No more projects with him, it's time to go no contact. She has said that she's trying to have less and less to do with him and how she now sees that he's very immature emotionally, etc. She also said that she now thinks he's fat and doesn't find him attractive, but I honestly don't believe her on any of that. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, there seems to be no remorse. I think she feels justified or doesn't think she did anything wrong. As far as the sex goes, she has 100% initiated it. And honestly, it has been pretty hot, and I've enjoyed myself. She has told me she loved me again, but that has slowed down again, and how the hell do you tell if she means it? It's obvious I can't see through her lies all that well. Posting more information afterwards. I have read what everyone has posted, and it made me realize that I was only trying to save our marriage because of what I was afraid of losing, not because I really loved her anymore. I still love her, but I love who she used to be and is the mother of my children. There's no more romantic love as a couple, if you know what I mean. I know I'll never trust her again either. I laid out a few things that I have to have going forward last night. We'll see how it goes. 0 contact with the affair partner, no meeting her son with my kids or telling them without me. She needs to tell me the truth and show some remorse. I told her I'm talking to a lawyer, and unless there is a miracle, I'm having a separation agreement written, and I will ask her to leave. She cried, went to her room, and I have not spoken to her since. Second update 1 year 1 month later. Apparently, this was picked up again on YouTube, so I've been getting a lot of people looking for an update. To make a very long story short, we are now divorced. She wouldn't stop contact with the affair partner, showed no remorse, and blame shifted. Never really came clean. I know in my heart I gave it my very best to save what we had. Did I make mistakes? Yes. Looking back, I of course would have done things differently, but it is what it is. I had enough. I lost a lot in the divorce, but it had to happen. I kept the home and teams, had to give up everything else, retirement savings, etc., but it was worth it. I'm good now. Still hurts to think about it, but it gets better every day. Enjoying all the things in my life again. My brother and his family have really been there for me. Thanks, bro. I don't want to be too long, so if there's anything else, I'll try and answer. So there's your final update. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Read your other 2 posts. It's scary that you can't even trust your own kids. What was their reaction to the divorce? Did they admit to knowing about the affair? What are your feelings toward them? Did they meet their half-brother? Is your ex-wife with the affair partner now? Op's response. I'm still talking to my kids, but the relationship is different now. The younger one did not know anything was going on. The older one, I think, did, but won't admit to anything, says they were trying to avoid conflict. I have very mixed feelings, but I still want them in my life. I was there when she told the kids. They both said they want to meet their half-brother, but as of today, they have no plan to meet him. I was amazed at how they reacted. They seemed happy to hear they had a half-brother out there and didn't seem bothered at all that their mom hid this for their whole lives. Something happened, I have no idea what, and I really don't want to know, but she seems to hate the affair partner now. He probably dumped her now that she's single. Commenter 2. The reaction from your oldest just makes me sad. She planned the cheating years ahead, made the kid be on her side, and spent more time teaching the kid how to be a good tool for her than how to think for himself. Your ex-wife is awful. Commenter 3. Wow. That original post was quite the story. It is interesting to see how quickly the replies to it split into 2 camps. She is a cheating piece of crap, and you are an inattentive piece of crap husband. That is Reddit for you, I guess. To be honest, in 99% of situations, there are contributions, not saying blame per se, just contributions, from all parties as to how things end up. Although I cannot say I would want to stay with someone who was having an affair either, no matter what blind spots I may have had. It sounds like things started off pretty well, and you must miss that. I am glad to hear you have some family to lean on and that things are better for you now. I hope your future goes well and you can maintain a good relationship with the kids. Cheers from a random internet stranger.